artist Leslie Mendelson joins me. She did a duet with Jackson Browne. She sang with Bob Weir. She opened up with The Who. Oh, so many great surprises, so many great insights into the music industry. And she's originally right here from Long Island. You're really going to enjoy this show. Check it out. Everyone, I'm really excited today. I always talk about the wellspring of talent from Manhattan to Montauk. I came across Leslie Mendelson on Instagram, and I was just telling Leslie she was in my head all day, which sounds kind of creepy, but not in a way. But her music, what you'll find out today, we always are curious about the person behind the music, but you'll hear a diverse sound, a beautiful voice, great songwriting, and she's brushed elbows with a few famous people, which we'll get into. And she is a Grammy-nominated artist. And I'm so happy to have Leslie Mendelson on the Long Island Sound.
Hi.
Welcome. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Great to have you on the show. I got to ask you, when did it all begin for you as an artist where you said, hey, you know what? I think I can do this. I can write music. I can sing. Where did it start for you, Leslie?
Well, I think just when I was young, I grew up in a musical family.
Okay.
We had a piano. My dad was a music teacher. He's retired. He's still a musician. He plays the trumpet. And so we had a good hi-fi system, had a lot of good records and just music playing all the time. And I think I worked my way over to the piano at an early age, just kind of like
noodling,
making, sounds. And then I figured out chords, and then, and then I got piano lessons. And then I think I started thinking that, I think I always wanted to be like, you listen to the radio and watch MTV and stuff like that. You're like, I want to do that. And right. I kind of knew like early on. And then I think I was in high school at some point. I was like, maybe I'll be an architect. I'm like, what? Okay. And then it just quickly came back to music.
Nice. And where'd you grow up?
Long Island, near Stony Brook.
Nice. Out like Setauket, out
East,
that way?
South Setauket. Yeah.
South Setauket. All right,
yeah.
I nailed it. Yeah, there's a lot.
Melville.
Yeah, a lot of great artists from that area, actually, that I've been running into. And it's funny, you mentioned hi-fi. You're the second artist I spoke to this week that said hi-fi. That
we really had a hi-fi system. My mom worked for JBL.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she hooked my dad up with this like serious system. I mean, we had those like speakers that were like, when I was a kid, they were bigger than me, and they put plants on them. Like they were furniture kind of speakers. And then we had an amazing turntable with the equalizer and the brush, like the green brush. My dad would put it, And
nice.
As a kid, it's just all so tactile. It's like just wonderful. All the little things about records and.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have three older sisters, and I used to they would lock their bedroom doors, but they had a great catalog of music. So like Janis Joplin and stuff like that. I'd sneak that out and throw it. I had a hi-fi as well. We'd throw it out. I had a Zenith hi-fi. It was black, and you could remove the speakers and stuff like that. And what was great about albums, you can take that needle and go back to the song and listen to specific parts. And a lot of people learned their licks and chord structure from that. It was a great time.
Yeah,
but I guess
I didn't do that.
All right. Yeah, I don't want to implant something you did. So when did you actually, what was your first paying gig, I guess? Or what was your first launch out into the market? Does that make sense? Yeah.
Well, I guess, right, in the market, because in high school I did some musical theater. And
okay.
But then I think I started right after high school doing open mics. So I wasn't getting any money, but, I was singing in front of people. And then I think, yeah, like during, after high school, kind of met up with musicians around. I was at Suffolk Community College, just met a bunch of, it's funny because I missed the whole Grateful Dead bus, I should say, but Fish was getting, they were really popular, and I just wound up there was like a big jam band scene.
Yeah.
A lot of Grateful Dead cover bands and stuff. So I feel like that was like my crew out on Long Island, and just kind of cutting my teeth on that kind of stuff. Plus, rock and roll and just funk and R&B and all the stuff, and just playing in the bars and meeting up with, just doing that, and then having a band. So Mother
Nice.
Freedom.
It seems like doing open mics are like the common denominator of launching a lot of careers, of getting the gusto up to perform in front of people. That's a huge step, and what a great opportunity. And it exists now today too. There are a lot of open mics. I went out to an open mic at People's Pub out in Bayport. Actually, it's a guy who follows you, David Marsh, and he had, David Marsh from Miles to Dayton.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy. I had him on the program. Real sweetheart. He did this open mic, and he had 35 acts at this open mic, and I was like, holy shit. I mean, I'm used to going to an open mic, and it's just a few of the artists hanging around with maybe a couple of their friends, and it was great. But what a great
Well, all your friends back then, you're so young, and just it's great because like the future's wide open. You're like, let's make a band, let's join a band, come sing in our band. And it's just like, it's all that. It was very, it felt like people were just dreaming stuff, when you're just, I want to be in a band, and poof, you're in one.
Right.
Kind of fun that you can manifest all that stuff as a kid. And I remember standing on stage. I think it was Stony Brook University, and I think Reckoning. Do you remember, Reckoning?
I know, I've heard of them. Yeah.
They had a night at this club in Stony Brook. It was called The Spot.
Okay.
And I had been asked to join a band to just sing a song, and it was the band that was playing before, and I just remember that was the first time I ever sang with a rock band, and it was just and I sang a Janis Joplin song that was way out of my range. I sounded probably horrible. Just when I went for the big scream, I think I was like, but I just remember just feeling like this is such an awesome feeling. It didn't even matter if you sucked, because you were just like,
right, I did it.
Great, I want to do this.
Right. So early in your career, were you pretty much a solo player, hitting the circuit, going out there, or how did it progress?
When I started just with an acoustic guitar, but then meeting people, then I started forming bands and playing keyboards, and because I played piano, so I was like, I play keyboards in a band better than guitar player. I kind of just still just strum and play songs, but so I can, and then I started writing, thinking about band more, like how to arrange for a band, and I did that in the beginning, early 20s, when I just write at in late teens, early 20s, and that band was called Mother Freedom, and I mentioned before, and we lasted about 4 years, and then after that, I just thought about. Then I picked up the acoustic guitar again.
Okay.
And I wanted to concentrate more on songwriting and just try and find my voice without, a band, I guess. And then I moved to the city at that point. I moved off Long Island, and I joined a songwriting group that was run by Jack Hardy.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Jazz folk.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I was tipped off and oh, you want to get better at songwriting? You should do this every Monday. He would hold these meetings in his apartment, and a lot of the songwriters that were, from fast folk would come through, like Suzanne Vega would be there on any given
Oh, wow.
night, Richard Julian and Lucy Kaplansky, and people would just come and, hone their skill. People are still writing. You had to write a song every week and perform it for the group. And then the group would give you criticism. So I was shaking with doing that, because I was just this is the way I thought about it. I'm not that good, but I'm not the worst.
Okay.
So I'm
there's a dose of humility in there. It's always healthy. Absolutely.
But, to get feedback, from Suzanne Vega or something, some of these great songwriters that were, Jack Hardy himself was just brilliant. And he was such a champion. He was so was so great. And so then I started thinking about, then from that I started to write and another, it was just, I guess, more folk music at that point.
Gotcha. Yeah. What's so interesting, I just had an interview with Caroline Doctorow, and she told me about, I forgot who she spoke to, but the person she spoke to said, hey, don't have it. This was the tip that she put forward, or was put forward to her. She's like, don't make people work too hard in the beginning to see where you're going. And sometimes you need to have some physical aspect of where you are, or placing people in the song early on to draw them in. I was like, wow, that's really cool. And it's really great to get that type of mentoring and that sharing, and then you're under the pressure of every week, you got to produce. I think
it's good. It was good for me.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, let's do this. Let's just take a quick break. And I want to talk about the songs. I want to talk about your album, After the Party. I want to talk about Jackson Browne. We want to talk
a lot of stuff.
I said we're going to be here for a certain amount of time, but I'm going to hold you accountable and to be here for a while. So, hey, everybody, stick with us. We'll be right back with Leslie Mendelson.
The Long Island Sound is here to help you connect with local artists. Follow us on Instagram for the latest up-to-date podcast episodes, and also to connect with your local artists and their upcoming shows.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. We're with Leslie Mendelson. Leslie, I got to ask you this. If you look back on your career, what would you say was a real turning point for you with your music and direction and what you're doing?
I don't know. I think that it hasn't been one big turn. I think there's just, like, people say, what was your break or this or that? I think it's like a series of little breaks along the way. Just like things that have happened that have been exciting. Just like getting asked to open for The Who at Madison Square Garden.
Get out of here.
Or working with Bob Weir. When I was invited to TRI to sing, and especially when I told you about my Grateful Dead upbringing. So, being able to sing those songs with Bob.
Oh my gosh.
Great. And then, I'm working with Jackson Browne, and just being able to be on tour and playing in theaters, opening up for all the great acts that I've been able to open up for. So, just those kind of situations. But as far as one thing, it was just never been one break.
You know what I find interesting, and by the way, I saw the duet you did with Jackson Browne, and of course I'm texting that to my buddies. Guess who I'm interviewing tonight, because I found the song so beautiful, and it was great. And I just in me finding you on social media, you never know who's watching.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. I've been trying to get, and I have a friend who's got a friend who's backing up Lucinda Williams. And then one day I'm on Instagram, and Lucinda, if you're listening, I recognize, she started following me on Instagram. I'm like,
that's cool.
I'm like, holy crap, I'm just a regular guy,
She's one of our greats.
Yeah, she really is, and it's great that she's back on tour.
I saw her last year.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
She's awesome.
So amazing. Hey, let's talk about the Grateful Dead, because one probably the best band in the world, in my opinion. Just the way they approach a lot of different things, the way they bucked convention about having people record their music. There's a guy named Seth Godin, big marketing guru guy, who says, you know what, they're really the first social media experiment in allowing people to say, hey, you know what? And he brought up something good. Maybe you can talk about this. In the beginning, they weren't playing big stadiums and large crowds, but what they were able to pull off is having people come to see them, a tribe of people, right, who didn't see them once and said that was great, saw them 10, 20, 30, X number of times. And he equated it to, because they do something different. It's not the album. It's
True.
more than that, which, all right, let me ask you this, and there's a couple of things that I'm jumping around a bit. I apologize. Is, you're singing your songs, you're singing them 1,000 times in front of people. How do you deal? Does this sound strange? How do you deal with that?
Well, I think that there's just, I don't know if I'm singing to the same people or different.
Okay.
I'm usually singing to different crowds, like different cities, but even if I'm singing to people, like I know that when I've seen a band or a person that I love, I can't wait to hear the songs that I like.
Right.
I don't care if I hear them all the time. James Taylor will do the same.
Yeah, gosh.
Or, all the greats do, because a good song. And then I think when you're playing it, you're always finding new ways to sing it. I always try to say, well, how did I sing it better tonight? Can I sing like all the things I want to sing? Can I embellish on parts that sometimes I can't get to maybe on a certain night for whatever reason?
Mm-hmm.
Can I do it tonight? And sometimes like, yeah, I nailed it tonight. So I feel like even though it's a song I've sung a million times, it never feels boring to me.
Great. Well, let me ask you this. When you do a show, do you, some people, by the way, don't like to see themselves on video again or listen, you maybe don't like the sound of their voice or speaking voice. Do you ever go back and watch something that was recorded that you did on video and kind of critique yourself to do something different? Or is it more of a memory? Oh, yeah?
I mean, nobody wants to watch themselves. I hate it. But then I'm like, I'm glad I would see something and be like, why am I doing this weird thing? Or, like, can
Right.
I move a little bit better? Or, just stage presence. When I'm talking, can I like not do so many likes and ums and this and that? I'm always
stopgaps.
be as fluid as possible and being in the moment. And so, yeah, watching yourself, it's hard, but it's good to do it.
So let me jump off of that statement. In the progression of you playing different shows over the course of years, how has your stage presence changed?
I think I'm more comfortable because I think it's that 10,000 hours
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
I just think the more you do anything, the better you get. So where I used to just dread, and I was always okay with singing songs and playing the songs, but then what do you do in between? That's really difficult, and you want to get the audience on your side. And I've just learned that the more that I talk and open up, the more the audience is with me. And the more the audience is with me, the better the show is going to be. So right off the bat, I'm just talking away. And a lot of the times I'm on my own because, touring, I'm
Sure.
a one-woman show at this point. And I'm just, yenting it up, just, talking shit. Everybody's just having a good time. And, I'm trying to bring that element of just like this.
Right. Yeah.
To the stage.
When you allow that, you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable by just being yourself.
Yeah.
Out there, which is to me as an audience member is very welcoming. For me to be comfortable with you, that may sound strange, but now I'm comfortable with you. I know a little bit more about you because of maybe the kibitzing back and forth. And I think there are different ends of the spectrums of what I would say the entertainment aspect of an artist on stage and live is you've got James Taylor, he's your uncle. He's right there, right?
Yeah.
You've heard your uncle's stories.
I'll hear his stories, the same stories. I'm fine with it. I love it. I don't.
Yeah. And then the other end of the spectrum, and I'm a big Neil Young fan. I like Van Morrison. He's getting cranky, but I'm sorry, Van. You're getting cranky, but they don't hardly talk at all. Maybe just short things. At least my experience. I haven't seen them.
Bob Dylan won't say anything some nights. You don't even know what song he's singing. I have this game sometimes I'll play with friends if I go to see Bob Dylan. Be like, if you can get it by the chorus, you win. Be like, what has he done to the melody? What is he singing? Oh, like whatever.
And I remember an interview with Tom Petty when Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and I happened to see that show in Madison Square Garden. It was great. And he said he would just F with you. He would go out, play the song in a different tempo and a different key, and the guys are looking at each other and maybe that put the edge on things. I don't know, but
yeah, that's kind of messed up, but I like it.
well, because he can.
Because he can, exactly.
Hey, let's talk about the song "Other Girls," because I get a feeling that the audience is going, "Hey, man, sounds like a nice person." I want to hear.
Sounds like
I want to
what?
hear a nice person. You're a nice person.
Thank you.
They're. I can feel it. I can feel it that they want to hear your music. Let's talk about the song "Other Girls." Tell me a little bit about that, and then we'll let the audience listen to it.
So this was kind of a song that it was almost a joke when I said the line, because it was a bit provocative, and I was just like, can we do something with this? I was talking to my co-writer, Steve Yusko, and he liked the perspective. I like it when you talk about other girls. It's like, what does it mean? So,
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, I found a way to kind of get into a way of like dealing with jealousy.
Okay.
And having fun with it. Just kind of flipping it on its head a little bit. And it's also an empowering song for women. It's women,
Absolutely.
Who doesn't love women?
Yeah.
And we're just, I think we're in a good place right now. Women, I'm not talking about the country, but, as far as feeling empowering, women feeling empowering. And I think it's an excellent time for that. So this was just about celebrating women as well.
Wonderful. All right, let's listen to "Other Girls," and we'll be right back after the song.
I like it. I said I like it when you talk about other girls. Other girls. I like it. I said I like it when you talk about other girls. Other girls. You can tell me anything you want if it's something you want to talk about. If it turns you on, it turns me on. It's something that I want to hear about. When she calls, what does she say? Does she want you to come out and play? I like it. I said I like it when you talk about other girls. Other girls. Yeah, I like it. I said I like it when you talk about other girls. Other girls. Is she just a dream or is she real? And do you think that she is beautiful? Does she do you good? And when she's done you good, is she still irresistible? When she calls, what does she say? Does she want you to come out and play? I like it. I said I like it when you talk about other girls. Other girls. Yeah, I like it. I said I like it when you talk about other girls. Other girls. Does she want you like I want you? And does she want me like she wants you? Yeah, I like.
Hey, everybody, we're back because I'm talking and you can see that we're back with Leslie Mendelson. And Leslie, you wanted to bring up something about a turning point.
Oh, well, you had asked me earlier, and I kind of went off the deep end a little bit. But as far as like a turning point for me in my career, I think that there was a point where I was going along thinking that this was more of a hobby.
Okay.
That I wasn't doing it as a living. And then I think I woke up one morning and be like, I want this, I need this to happen. And then I started thinking about like the next steps. And it just happened that I met this producer because I had made a record. And it was kind of like I was still doing odd jobs and nothing was really happening with it. But then I met this producer when I was getting this little record mastered. And his name was Joel Dorn. And he worked, he's in the 70s, he was the president of the jazz division of Atlantic Records. And he produced Donny Hathaway, Bette Midler's first album, Roberta Flack, Killing Me Softly, all that stuff. And just like this just wealth of knowledge. And what an incredible man he was. And we got on like a house on fire and he was great. He's just like, and he liked what I was doing. And, so we started thinking about like how to make a record. And I feel like at that point, that was a turning point for me, getting to meet him and just think about things. It felt like in a real way.
Right. So how do you get in the company of somebody that prestigious in the music business? Are they finding you and saying, So when I made this record, kind of a self-made record of like the songs I was actually writing during the time of the Jack Hardy songwriter.
Okay. I took those songs and made a record. And I did it, and we mastered it at this place called DB Plus. Okay. And it was Gene Paul, who's Les Paul's son. Okay. At this office in Uptown, and Joel had an office there. And so when I was mastering the record, he heard it, and it's just like, I like this chick. He just thought like because he was such a making great records in the 70s. And I think I have that throwback sound.
Oh, yeah, you have that vibe. Absolutely.
He's just like, you're like a New York chick, like Carole King or something like that. Let's make a record. And I'm like, okay. So that was a really, he was just like, you could do this for real.
Oh, man. That would just, that puts you on steroids in a rocket ship when you have somebody like that who is so encouraging. And he talks in jazz by calling you a chick.
Funny. Oh, he's so funny. He's the one who taught me about fake nice. Like when you go to a restaurant, you're like, it's fake nice. You know exactly what that means. I've been there. And he's just, he had a million stories and he's like, I'm like, do you play an instrument? He's like, I play the telephone, because he produced records, but he didn't play instruments. He just had a million lines.
Yeah. That's a true New Yorker when we can mix sarcasm up with.
He's a Philly guy, actually.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah,
he's
a transplant in Philly. That's how he started.
Oh, so he's a fake New Yorker, is what you're saying.
Touche. He lived in New York a long time.
He's a transplant. Come on, let's call a spade here. He's not a native, but who is a native in New York, right?
I'm a Long Islander. I live in Brooklyn. I'm still on Long Island.
Yeah, right. Believe me, when I was a little kid, the confusion between what we called, when you went into Brooklyn, Manhattan, or Queens, to us, that was the city.
Yeah. And technically.
Yeah, it's geographic.
There's no bridge.
There's no bridge. Right, exactly. And don't get me started on Jersey. If I never have to go to Jersey again,
We don't have to do that.
Let's talk about the album you've done. This is your fourth studio album, and I remember reading in your bio. And by the way, just to remind the audience, look in the description below. You'll get all the connection to Leslie's music, where to purchase it, where to get and stream it. So definitely look below for that. But now this is your fourth studio album. You kind of we all kind of came out of COVID. So tell me about how this whole idea of this album came about.
Well, my last record, If You Can't Say Anything Nice, ... came out in like the spring of 2020, which is it was a terrible time to put out a record.
Right.
Yeah. It was just whatever, it happened. But that record came out of, I think, the 3 years prior to that, where, with the 24-hour news cycle and just a lot of anxiety, and that was kind of my like record where I just feel like not like a primal scream record, but like where I was really just like voicing a lot of my
angst,
anger and angst and fears and frustrations, and that just kind of came out. It was really influenced by John Lennon's first solo album, Plastic Ono Band, and the feelings that he was portraying on that record, plus the way it sounded. We did it stripped down, like drums, bass, guitar, piano. That was it.
Core, yeah.
Very, very little production, but it was produced, but just keeping it like that. Anyway, so that was a very heavy record. And then promoting the record, talking about it a lot, was like, I was like, okay, I'm ready to like move away from this. And I think After the Party, which first of all was inspired by Andy Warhol's, he has a piece called After the Party, and it's a great picture of a table with empty glasses and cigarette ashtrays, and like it's just
No, I gotta pull that up. Okay.
And then that's where the song came from too. And just like kind of imagining that glamorous factory and oil factory party, or like a Velvet Underground. That kind of wanted to be in that place, especially when I'm like hanging out in my apartment, isolated. You're like, this is just, everything sucks.
Right, I'm with you.
Trying to think of like a better existence, and a lot of those songs were thinking outside of like, let's get out of here, like let's go. And I feel like it's a departure from the heaviness that the last record had, and this feels like a lot more light, because I feel like I was looking towards more of lightness.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's just a different attitude. And I got to ask you this, because I noticed that you have 3 different producers, like a trio of producers on this album. How does that happen? Was it purposeful? Was it circumstantial that it just happened? I'm curious about that.
Circumstantial, and it, like, I took advantage of some opportunities that came my way.
Okay.
And so Steve McEwen is one of the producers. He's a constant through both. I was thinking about producers for the record, and Tyler Chester's name came up I was talking to a friend, Bob Glob, who plays bass with Jackson Browne. He was like, you'd be...
Oh, the guy with the big white beard. That guy?
That's Leland Sklar.
Oh, okay, wrong guy.
Bob Glaub, we call him Bob Glaub, has
Bob Glaub.
a little bit of a more trimmed beard.
Okay, got
it. He's played on everything. If you look him up, I mean, he's done it all. He's
nice.
Great bass player. And he was mentioning Tyler Chester as a great producer, somebody that I could work with. And he worked with Madison Cunningham. He did some of her stuff. And so we got together and did a few songs, and they sounded great. And then I got this opportunity to work with Peter Asher.
Okay.
So I was just like, well, I want to work with Peter Asher. And so we wound up doing some songs. And at the end of the day, I had about 10 songs. And I'm like, this works, and I just put them together because they all sounded cohesive.
Nice.
I'm the constant. We did it at the same studio, which was done at Groove Masters at Jackson Browne studio. And then I'm a constant, Steve's a constant, and we wrote all the songs, and I feel like it all worked.
Nice. All right, that's cool. Hey, you know what? And I was telling you about this, that you were in my head and your music in my commute to work this morning.
Good.
And one of the songs that I want to hear next is "Have a Little Heart," and just to tell the audience, I found it such a beautiful song that really made me think about many things, and the different phrasing you used just with that word jumped out at me in different ways. Tell me a little bit about that.
I want to know what was making you think about.
it two things. One, have a little heart, like, almost talking to a person, say, have a little empathy, have a little heart, where are you? You cranky old bastard, have a little heart, show me some love, right? That was one aspect of it that I caught. And the other aspect is the offering of the heart of you as the singer saying, have a piece of my heart. And then the other thing
That's beautiful. I love that.
Okay. And then the other
Really
thing
nice.
that ran just before we got on to this interview, I'm thinking of Janis Joplin, and take another piece of my heart, which has a lot of ramifications. So those triplets ran through my mind. So
Good because it's in 3/4.
Yes, and I was going to say that.
Nerded out so hard. Okay. So you're right on about all that.
Thank you.
It's actually the first song that came out of not doing anything when the pandemic started. I mean, I'm talking about, nothing. It was a big snow day. So
yeah.
Maybe we should do like a little bit of writing or something. Just do something. I should be thinking about the future. And this kind of my sister was. It was a couple of things. It was an older song that I revisited.
Okay.
And I was just and changed the whole thing. So it was kind of like it wasn't even in 3/4. That the whole, it was just different. There was just a little bit of a melody line. Even the words were different. So anyway, so I thought, but I liked the way it felt. And then the words came from that sentiment, just about being more open. I think I have a tendency to be abrupt and a little cold and short with the people I love. And my sister and I were having a conversation, and she said, you're turning into a female Larry David.
Ooh. How apropos with the end of that season, right?
I haven't seen the rest of it yet. I'm only four.
I haven't seen this season yet, and because I don't have HBO Max or whatever it's on. But I'm going to, because I'm seeing all these damn teasers.
No, I know. I saw that Bruce Springsteen I was like, I can't wait to get
what? Oh,
never mind.
Thanks
Anyway,
for the spoiler. Thank you.
It's not. It's everywhere. Come on. Anyway. So, just that kind of, it really made me think about all of the things that we were just talking about. And just slow your roll, open up, have a little patience.
Nice. All right, so introduce the song.
And now you're going to hear from After the Party. This is Have a Little Heart.
Trying to get sober, so have a little heart, baby. Have a little heart, baby. There's a weight hanging on my shoulder, so have a little heart, baby. Have a little heart, baby. Don't write me off, 'cause I'm down on my luck. So please think of me before I fall apart. Won't you have a little heart? Won't you have a little heart? Summer's here, but it's getting colder, so have a little heart, baby. Have a little heart, baby. In my 'cause everybody needs a little loving. Everybody needs a little love. So won't you have a little heart? Have a little heart. Won't you have a little heart? Have a little heart.
We are back with Leslie Mendelson. Leslie, I'm looking at your tour dates online, literally right now. You're like everywhere. So I'm going to run down the list. All right, just because why not, right? So I don't have the April dates, but I have the May 18th. You're at the Kessler Theater in Dallas, Texas.
That's going to be a big party with Rhett Miller.
Okay.
Eric Nadal, who's become a friend. He's the announcer for the Texas Rangers.
Okay.
He's a music guy, too. And this is a big birthday party that he's having. And he's got Rhett Miller playing from the old 97s. And I'm opening the show.
Nice. Have you played in Texas before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I played in Galveston. Oh, Galveston.
Galveston. Oh. Hey, was that written by? Who was that written by?
Jimmy Webb.
Yes. Good friend of mine, Pete Mancini, is like Pete Mancini. I got to plug him real quick. Pete Mancini is a great singer-songwriter. He's like the Guy Friday for Jimmy Webb.
Oh.
And he actually opens up for Jimmy and does his own stuff. And I've had Pete on the show. And just a quick spot about Pete. I know it's about you, but so Pete, you sit back. I do this interview with Robin Wilson of Gin Blossoms, right? And I know the Gin Blossoms, but I'm not deep into the Gin Blossoms. I remember the interview with Pete. He says, "Oh, they inspired me." So I said, "Hey, Pete, can you co-host with me?" Right? And I'm telling you, the gods were looking over us because I had used my phone as my camera, and somebody called me in the middle of the interview, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And Pete picked up right on it. He saw I was like tied up, and he continued with the interview. It was beautiful. Anyway, wow. Jimmy Webb, another great
one of my favorites
songwriter.
Influence.
Got to get Jim Webb on the show. Anyway, then on Friday, May 17th, you're at the Rose Chapel in Fort Worth, Texas. Then May 22nd, the Fremont Theater in St. Louis Obispo, California. Crest Theater.
That's going to be opening for the Wallflowers.
Come on.
Those next 3 dates, yeah. So after Texas, I'll be opening. And I did a bunch of stuff with them last year.
Yeah, he was very complimentary of your voice in your bio. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Tell him I said hello. If he wants to talk to a schmuck from Babylon.
They're nice schmuck, though.
I'm always available. So that was the Crest Theater, right?
Whatever it says, yes.
Yeah. June 2nd, you're at Holt Center for the Performing Arts in Eugene, Oregon. What? What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing. It's just all over the place.
I know, right?
I'll just play. I love it.
That's great. Then you're at the Goddard Center for the Visual and Performing Arts in Ardmore, Oklahoma. And then you come back east to the Keswick Theater in Glenside, Pennsylvania. And then where I, God willing, will see you on Wednesday, June 26th at City Winery in New York.
Album release party.
Nice. In your hometown.
Yeah.
And then Thursday, September 19th at the Iredell Arts.
There's a bunch of stuff in between then, so.
Well, we got to update.
Send them to my website.
Yeah, you got to update the website. We got to talk to the PR people and say, come on, get on this
stuff.
Especially after this interview. I mean, droves of people are going to be just looking for
Droves.
you. Droves.
I hope so.
I can dream, right?
Hey, I think it's good. It's positive manifestation.
That's right. You got to picture it, and it will come. And now I'll be serious. I'm telling you, in the past month and a half, there are certain people in my life that have been extremely encouraging, and I've had, just like you said, it wasn't one big thing, but these little things have happened to me with this podcast that just like, oh good, it's finally something's happening. It's great. It's a lot of fun, and you're part of it, so I appreciate that. I really do. Let's talk about the rock and roll song, and let's let the peeps hear it. So tell me a little bit about that, and then we'll jump right into the song.
So yeah, another song on this album called Rock and Roll on the Radio. And this just was like a fun song inspired by driving around looking for good rock and roll on the radio. And it's just as simple as that. And I play harmonica. It's a real jangly song, and it's fun to sing. It was fun to record. We got to do that. That was one of the Peter Asher tracks as well. And we have Lee Sklar on bass and Jim Keltner on drums and John Jorgensen on guitars, and Steve and myself, I'm on harmonica and acoustic guitar.
Nice. I remember when I heard this song, I'm thinking Neil Young with the harmonica, that because you start off with harmonica, right?
Yeah.
And then, so what this is, I'm not a critic, okay? But what really kind of caught me was the grittiness of you. I didn't realize it was you playing the harmonica, and then moving into your melodic voice was a good transposition. Does that make
cool.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I like it.
Yeah.
You could be a critic. Everyone's a critic.
I know. I'm married. Oh, hey, whoa.
Oh.
Let's listen to Rock and Roll on the Radio. We'll be right back with Leslie Mendelson. Stick with us, everybody.
Why don't they play rock and roll on the radio anymore? 'Cause I love the sound of it, shaking the ground with it. Why don't they play rock and roll on the radio anymore? 'Cause I'm all about it. It's more than nostalgic. It's all I wanna hear. Ring it in my ears. It's all I've ever known. Rock and roll on the radio. I remember when rock and roll could have changed the world any day now. A revolution is the only solution. I remember when rock and roll saved this lonely girl out in the rain now. It's more than a feeling. It keeps me dreaming. It's all I wanna hear. Ring it in my ears. It's all I've ever known. Rock and roll on the radio. Never burn out. Never fade away. 'Cause rock and roll is here to stay. Hey, hey. Well, it's all I wanna hear. Ring it in my ears. It's all I've ever known. It's all I wanna hear. Ring it in my ears. It's all I've ever known. Rock and roll on the radio. Rock and roll on the radio.
Leslie, I have to tell you something. I told you earlier in the podcast that you're in my head. I was listening and I really got a good taste of your music and the diversity of your songs, the diversity of your voice too is just the way you play these different songs is really a great journey of discovery for me as the listener. And now to find a little bit about your background, and I have a new friend in you. What a pleasure, what a blessing it is.
Yeah,
and I really
nice
appreciate
to talk to you too, Steve.
Yeah, it's so great to have you on the program, and I look forward to seeing you at City Winery in person. And you're always welcome back on the show. You produce new music. Send your friends over, and we'll have a blast. We'll have a conversation.
Sure.
All right, everybody. Till next time, this is the Long Island Sound with Leslie Mendelson.
Thanks,
Be well.
guys. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate the time you spent with us. Please subscribe and comment, and visit us at gigdestiny.com. Till next time, be generous with your joy, keep your spirits high, and let the music take you on a journey. Be well. Peace.